This is episode 8, I believe, of the Gas Safe Register Technical Team Tech Talk podcast. For new viewers, I'm Rob. I'm the lead technical officer here at the Technical Helpline at Gas Safe Register. And John, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm John. I am the Standards and Trading Manager for the Gas Safe Register.
Thank you, John. So, this episode, we like to keep each episode themed. The calls we get into the technical helpline, questions, calls, emails, they are typically very seasonal. So coming into the summer season, we're getting a lot of inquiries around mobile catering, outdoor catering events, static holiday caravans. So we thought we'd base this episode around those types of questions that we've been getting over the last sort of month or two. Especially for this episode, we wanted to touch on a subject that we thought was quite important. And it has been raised in the past, which is around single stage regulators, especially older variants that you come across, engineers will come across, especially if they work in holiday lets or mobile catering, stuff like that. So I thought I'd pass you over to John, our training and standards manager. So John, if we're working on appliances that have single stage regulators, what are the sort of things that we need to look for? What do engineers need to look for when they're out there?
Yeah, so when you come across a single stage regulator, so obviously they can govern very high pressure to 37 millibar. So there's upwards of 6 bar in some cases, down to 37 millibar. So where they go wrong, that could be very, very dangerous. So what you need to do is you need to check that it's working safely, look for signs of degradation, corrosion, especially if you're in those coastal areas where a lot of the kind of holiday parks are and things like that. Obviously the salt water and salt in the air play havoc on metallic parts. So an important thing to look for is that most regulators will have a replacement date. So it's normally 10 years. So after 10 years, you should replace the regulator. Some of those are as low as 5 years, though. So it's really important that you check the actual regulator. Will have a data stamp on there, and it should say when that replacement date is. Check the British standard, because if it is BS 3016 stamped on there, that means they are definitely over 10 years old. The new regulator standard is BSEN 16129. They should be okay if you see that on there, but obviously you do need to double check the date on there. If you have any questions or it's the date's not on there, sometimes they'll have like a code on there which will tell you when they're made from. You're best off speaking to the manufacturer. They will be able to tell you from that stamp. It'll tell you what year it is, the month it was made. So then you'll be able to go back from the 10 years. You need to impress on the customer that it's really important that they get these changed if they are over the 10 years. Also, that most of the newer ones will have what's called an OPSO, an overpressure shutoff. That's a bit like a PRV, pressure relief valve, so that if the pressure gets too high, it'll trigger the safety device. And then if you look in IGEM G11, Gas Industry Unsafe Situations Procedure, it states if a single stage regulator is over 10 years old and it's without the OPSO protection, that should be classed as at risk. Also, if it's showing particularly bad state of degradation and corrosion, that would also be classed as at risk. Also, you need to check whilst you're out looking at the regulator, obviously check the hoses for cuts, abrasions, signs of corrosion, degradation, and replace those if necessary.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I agree with that. I think so. Just to summarise that, you guys that are working in your coastal areas, your holiday caravan parks, stuff like that, any signs of corrosion, you want to, check thoroughly. And you just be looking for that new BS number. So BSEN 16129.
That's the one, yeah.
That's some good information. Thanks for that, John. So sticking with the theme, really. I mean, all the calls we've been getting into the technical helpline have been LPG related, mobile catering, stuff like that. So it's some good information there if we're dealing with single stage. Yeah, definitely that time of year. So as normal, like we do every episode, I just wanted to go over some, I've just picked some frequently asked questions that we've been getting here at the Technical Helpline. Hopefully it might help some of you guys out there. If you do have any other questions, obviously feel free to let us know. So the inquiries we've been getting have been, like we've said, of a more summer season type. We've been dealing with lots of mobile catering inquiries, leisure equipment, holiday let questions. So the first question we've been getting quite a lot is if an engineer is carrying out a landlord check at a holiday let bungalow and the landlord also supplies a barbecue for the holiday users, does this need to be checked as well? And the answer is yes. If the barbecue is supplied by the landlord or the holiday let owner, then the barbecue will need to be checked as well. And just an add note on that, an engineer will usually need the leisure ACS accreditation, which is LEI 1. So if you are an engineer and you're going into a holiday let and you notice they've got a barbecue, obviously you need to make the landlord aware that they will need to get that checked. You might have the necessary qualifications. If not, they may have to get someone in to do that additional check. The next question. So engineer that's been asked to work in a mobile catering trailer and they already have their commercial catering qualifications, but they've never worked in a mobile catering environment. Can they work in it? Is their ComCat qualifications enough? And the answer is no. An engineer, whilst you've got the commercial catering ACS, and that's enough knowledge and competence to work on most of the appliances, you would still need the additional mobile catering changeover. And that allows you to, that makes you aware of the additional requirements within mobile catering, such as pipe work, ventilation, stuff like that. So that changeover is called, this is a long one, John, so get ready. It's CONGLP1 CMC. So the CMC bit at the end, that's the important bit, so you can identify.
The commercial mobile catering. It's also worth noting, Rob, that they need to be careful. Some of the appliances that they work in may not be covered by ComCat, such as if there's a single point water heater on the wall that's gas, that would require the WAT 1 qualification rather than their ComCats.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you mean like the normal domestic water heater?
Just sometimes to wash their hands, trailer. Or not like the urns and things like that. They're covered by one of the ComCats, but the actual just like a single point water heater. I haven't really seen one since college, if I'm honest. But they do have them in some commercial trailers for using the hot water and things like that, for washing up and washing their hands. So they just need to be careful if they come across those. They're not covered by a ComCat.
Oh, it's a good point. Need to be aware of those. Like you say, they're not a jacketed urn or a water boiler. They kind of look like a domestic water heater, don't they?
It's exactly what they are, effectively. Yeah, exactly what they are. So,
no problem. Good point. And so the last question we've been getting quite a lot: ventilation requirements for a mobile catering trailer. So in mobile trailers, the ventilation requirement must be at least 250 mil squared for each kilowatt input of all appliances, or 1000 mil square, whichever is the biggest. All right, so that's 250 mil squared for each kilowatt of total appliances, or 1000 mil squared, whichever is the biggest. Sometimes you might find a serving hatch is used for the ventilation, which is fine. It opens up, it's a big space, big opening, that's your ventilation. If that is the case, engineers working in these trailers need to make sure that serving hatch is interlocked, because that is in effect your ventilation now. So if that hatch shuts down, the gas should be shut off. So it's just something to bear in mind for engineers that are maybe just getting into this. I know there's a lot of guys out there that just do mobile catering. They're probably well aware of all these requirements, but for people that are starting to sort of diverse their work a bit, if you have any other questions regarding mobile catering, do give us a call into the technical helpline. So moving on, other news. John, over to you. What other news has been going on in the gas industry at Gas Safe Register?
Yeah, so there's been a new British standard released, which is BSEN ISO 10239. That is LPG systems on boats. It's a very specialised area of boats. Generally, people who work on boats. You don't get many kind of crossing over to do that sort of thing, but obviously you can do. The main changes are covered in Industry Standard Update 128, which is available, I believe it's in the July-August version of the magazine. Alternative is available on the Gas Safe Register website on the engineers area. There are a few major changes in there, so I suggest you take a look at that. The upcoming RGM UP2 is about to be published, the updated version of that. RGM UP2 is installation pipework systems in non-domestic and industrial premises. There's some fairly major changes in that. Again, once that's published, a new ISU will be published for that one. Again, please make yourself aware of the changes. If you've got 10 or under members, registered engineers on your registration, then you can subscribe to the standard subscription pack. I think both of those are included in that standard subscription. Again, if you look on the website, the information's there. The only other one that's kind of upcoming is RGM UP1B, which is your domestic tightness testing and purging. There's been some major changes to that. It's been a very long-winded process. We'll go fully into the changes once that's published. As far as I'm aware, the standard is now agreed upon. It just needs to go through all the big committees for approval. So we'll have more details on that once that comes out for publication.
Yeah. So two big standards there. Domestic
two big standards coming.
Commercial pipe work, and like you say, domestic tightness testing. Some big changes coming for the latter part of 2025. So be good to see it, and I'm sure we'll all be going through that all together so we can give engineers the correct information going forward. And that's it for episode 8, people. Thank you very much for listening or watching, as always. If you have any feedback at all, just give us an email, technical@gassaferegister.co.uk. If you've got any ideas you want us to discuss, if you've got any questions you specifically want us to ask on the podcast, feel free, send them in, and we'll try our best to answer them for you. Additionally, any technical inquiries or questions while you're out there in the field, do give us a call, send us an email. We're here to help you. We're a team of gas engineers at the end of the day. We know what you're up against, and we're here to help. So thank you everyone for watching. Goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me. Thank you very much.
And we'll see you in episode 9. Thanks everybody.
Cheers. Bye-bye.